already know what time it is, man. Shout out to the motherfucking playback gang. Shout out to the whole Reaper gang. It's the motherfucking boss, man. It's Duce, baby. Once again, man, this is Reaper Gang Radio, man. Y'all here with Mr. Two Hands Up, man, aka 3K the boss, man. Let's get to work, man. Let's get back to business, man. Hope everybody good. Let's rock out, man. Let's rock out. Throw some cam to this shit. Okay. There we go. Get face to face with the people. Maserati, go speed red. Big days. Merle Dixon, salute. Punisher 69, what it do? Chain with the ice, though. What the motherfucking ice, though? Jeff, salute. What it do? Bye, bye. You already know what it is, man. What's good with y'all, man? What's good? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I had to put that Mephisto on Demetrius Andrade, man, because you know what I'm saying? It's like he's everybody's favorite bad guy, man. I don't know what it is, man. It's like, you know, the Marvel character Mephisto, man. It's like anybody he gets around, man, he infects them with, you know what I'm saying, with like he infects them in a certain way where, you know, it brings out the worst. It brings out the worst of people, man. So I feel like, you know, Demetrius Andrade is like the Mephisto of boxing right now, because it seems like, you know, when people are at one place, you know, they'll give Demetrius Andrade his respect. Now, see, this is the thing I don't understand. It's not like the guy ain't trying to fight the best. It's not like the guy ain't, you know, did everything he could do to try to get in the driver's seat to fight these guys, and they don't want to fucking fight him. So you know what they do? They might be over here, and they be like, yo, you know, they might respect the talent. Then they get over on another channel. Motherfuckers call him Dudu Andre, Boo Boo Andre, and all of that stuff. Then they want to start calling them that. But my whole thing is, where's the grounds and the basis for this shit? Like, you want to know what's funny to me? Now let's go back a little bit, guys. Truth Bomb Jake, salute family. Let's go back, guys. Let's go back to the press conference here. Now, everybody jumped on Demetrius Andrade for speaking to Canelo at the press conference, trying to get a fight with that man. Well, he's a boxer. That's what boxers are supposed to do. Contrary to belief, boxers have been doing it since the beginning of their time. There's no need to stop it now. I'm sorry that the world's going soft, and a lot of you guys' world, 2 + 2 = 6. Well, no, that's just not how it works in my world. So, you know, and I hope boxers continue to do that. Continue to show up at press conference and showing how they really want it. It's called ambition, and you can't hate on a motherfucker for having ambition. But as we go back, I want people to pay attention and look at something here. Demetrius Andrade was highly criticized for what he did, right? But at the same time, and everybody's like, oh, he don't have no business even being in the ring with Canelo. What is he doing? They try to downplay this man for doing this shit. Why don't people feel the same way about Virgil Ortiz then? He ain't even a world champion. Why don't people feel the same way about Virgil Ortiz? Why does Virgil Ortiz have the right to talk about Bud Crawford? Why does Virgil Ortiz have the right to even mention his name, right, guys? In what way is that okay? If Demetrius Andrade can't speak to Canelo, then in what way does fucking Virgil Ortiz have the right to speak to a undisputed champion and a multi-weight world champion such as Terrence Crawford? I'll wait. Can anybody answer that for me? Can any one of you guys answer that for me? Pastor Eric Miller, salute. One of my faves in the building. Bison God, one of my favorite niggas in the building, salute. All the homies in here, man. All the top 10 homies is in here, man. What is it, man? Can anybody explain this shit to me? In what world do you guys got to speak out of your fucking retarded mouths that Virgil Ortiz has the right to part his lips to even mention Terrence Crawford, doesn't have a world title, never been a world champion, still a prospect in a lot of people's eyes, fighting a lot of great guys. I love Virgil. But if Demetrius Andrade, a 2-weight world champion, holding a WBO at 160, and then the WBO's rule book, the WBO champion has the right to exercise his right to move up to challenge the WBO champion at 168 or any division. It doesn't change. So what the fuck is wrong with what Demetrius Andrade did? I'll wait. And why is it okay for Virgil Ortiz? Let's talk about it. We live in a world of Mr. Me Too's. We live in a world of people who like to pander for certain individuals, but then you like to downplay another. We live in a world where it seems like you want to big up and favor one guy, but you want to disrespect another guy. So what is Demetrius Andrade not doing that Virgil Ortiz is doing to where Demetrius Andrade gets shitted on, but Virgil Ortiz gets bigged up? I mean, let's talk. I mean, shit. I mean, Demetrius Andrade definitely went out there and he performed how he should perform. I do believe every opponent Demetrius Andrade fights, he knocks him on his ass and then boxes him beautifully off the back foot, and niggas just can't handle him. So in what world is fucking Demetrius Andrade wrong here and Virgil Ortiz is right? I don't understand it. And this is where I have a disconnect with boxing fans, and this is why we will never be on the same page. This is why you will always have a problem with me, because the hypocrisy doesn't end. So it isn't okay for Demetrius Andrade to have ambition, considering he's a world champion, but it's okay for a guy who isn't a world champion to have ambition and to call out a multi-weight world champion such as Terence Crawford. But you'll put pressure on Terence Crawford saying he's doing all the wrong things for not accepting the challenge. So in what way is Demetrius Andrade wrong? In what way is Demetrius Andrade wrong here? He's the 160-pound champion. You can't fault a guy for wanting to go out there and fight a guy who has kind of maneuvered his way around him in two other divisions. I like Canelo. I like Demetrius Andrade. I like Virgil Ortiz. I like Terence Crawford. I think they are all hyper talents. I think they are all hyper talents. But you want to know what I have a problem with and why I have to bring these individuals' names up? And in no disrespect to Virgil Ortiz, but he has to be the sacrificial lamb here, because this is the type of bullshit that people continue to put on us time and time again. And I'm just not willing to accept it. That's the difference, though. Crawford ain't trying to fight anybody better than Virgil, and Canelo. How was Crawford not trying to fight anybody better than Virgil when he tried to fight Sean Porter and they sent him a deal? He tried to fight fucking Manny Pacquiao, but Manny Pacquiao was choosing Mikey Garcia, and he tried to fight the entire division at 147. But what you're doing, Usyk, the Barbarian King, you have the tendency to leave out the fact that you know they are stonewalling him and they are blackballing him over at the PBC, and they won't let him fight for titles. So are you going to bring up the politics too, or are you going to sit up here and talk some bullshit that fucking Terence Crawford isn't trying to fight the best? He's only been fighting the best and fighting every style his whole entire career and not running from them. Unlike Canelo, he don't run from styles, unlike Canelo. So if you're going to sit up here and say Terence Crawford isn't trying to fight everybody when he has never shied away from one challenge, and he just said out of his mouth that he wants Jose Ramirez next, then he wants to fight Virgil Ortiz, then he wants Garcia right after that. So what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, then put it out your mouth correct way then. Don't sit up here and try to downplay a fighter when he's consistently fighting all of the styles. He's consistently taking on all of the challenges they put in front of him, and niggas don't want to take it. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's a disconnect. See, like people are being completely disingenuous here. Crawford can't get a better fight than Virgil. How do you know that? How would I know that? How can he get a better fight than Virgil? What makes Virgil such a marquee fight? Tell me. What are Virgil ticket sales like? What does Virgil bring to the table that a multi-division world champion who is chasing undisputed needs to come down off of what he is trying to do to go after Virgil Ortiz? Because what? That's who you guys like, that's who you guys favor, and that's who you guys want to see. So what, and once again, what makes it any different than what Demetrius Andrade is trying to do? Once again. We got to cut the crap, man. Okay, so because they duck Usyk, the Barbarian, because they duck, that makes it acceptable? So he's supposed to jump in the arms of Virgil Ortiz because they're cowards? He's supposed to jump in the arms of Virgil Ortiz because we have two ducks over here. on the PBC's end? Or should there be more freaking people vocalizing their frustrations with the fact that people are ducking Terence Crawford? And once again, here's the problem. All of the pressure is being put on Terence Crawford to go in any direction that you guys vocalize, like you change your drawers every fucking day of the week. Hopefully you change them every day of the week. So he's supposed to go in that direction instead of you guys using your energy to vocalize how much fucking a duck Terence Crawford, how much of a duck Spence is, how much of a duck Porter is, and how much pressure needs to put on the PBC for them blackballing and stonewalling the entire division. Why does Terence Crawford have to move at any direction the wind blows just off of the fact that there are other cowards in the division that don't want to move forward with the succession of the division? Because after Spence fights Ugas, if he does not fight Terence Crawford, and there isn't an outcry from the media, there isn't an outcry from fight fans, which there should be already, about what he is not doing, this just shows me I'm talking in the wrong fucking business once again. When Bud Crawford smashes Ortiz, the excuses would be, well, he was green. He really shouldn't have been in there. How many times have I said that already? I think I was just highlighting this like a week ago or so. Because look, right? Everybody wants Virgil Ortiz to run in the direction of Terence Crawford. Because when he smashes him, which he will, when he obliterates him, after he gets a hold of Jose Ramirez, what are y'all going to say then? He was too young. He was too green. The same stuff y'all try to do to coddle Canelo. The same way y'all try to take, you know what I'm saying, Manny Pacquiao, 7 losses, his knockouts, his unworldly fucking weight gains in a fucking year and 2 months and weight jumps. I mean, are y'all going to try to coddle him the same way? Because in any form or any mention of critique, you know, Floyd Mayweather's come up when you critique Pacquiao, or you know, now Terence Crawford is coming up anytime. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Look at what's going on here. And y'all tell me y'all don't see the patterns. And because here's the deal. If Canelo isn't willing to come down off of his high horse for Demetrius Andrade, who is a champion, why the fuck does Bud Crawford have to come down off of his high horse, knocked out every opponent at 147, just completely just goes out, sensationalizes his fights, and dominates at will? Why does he have to come down off of his throne for a guy who isn't a champion and Virgil Ortiz? This is absolute nonsense. This is nonsense. This is bullshit. And people need to own up to what the truth really is. You guys want to put all of the fucking work and all of the frustrations on one when you want the other guy to take the easy street and have it however you want to have it. Because Canelo can go out here and knock out all of these motherfucking opponents we know he can beat. But the one fight we want him to make, or the 2 fights we want him to make, it is okay for him to shit on him, shoot him down, and all of a sudden talk this great English. But when it comes to Terence Bud Crawford, he's supposed to take all of the fights that nobody wants him to be in, and just completely fucking, and everybody be dismissive of all of the championship fights that he should be in. I like that comment. I think it's a great fucking fight. And I think Josh Taylor has the upper hand in the skill set. I just think that, you know, and I picked Josh Taylor to win, but I think this is going to be a fucking fight where these motherfuckers are going to fight to the death. They are going to truly fight they're going to go all out, and they are in their fucking prime. This shit, guys, get ready, because tomorrow night is going to be sensational. Honestly, I might do a live commentary for this one. I think this one is deserving of it, since nobody else wants to shine light on the fact that this is one of the biggest fights of fucking 2021 and probably several years before it. There's only one other fucking undisputed champion at 140. And this run at 140 for the undisputed is much better than his. So one of these guys are going to be the second guy to become undisputed at 140. This is a major deal. This is a fucking great match. It is 1000% what Jeff just said. Shout out to him, a barn burner. And I can't wait to entertain it. I can't wait to see it. Now I want to go back to this comment that Pastor Eric Miller put up, because it's a very great comment. There are three types of boxing fans from what I've seen: diehards, true lovers of competition, simps, aka Wilder type, and the casual, whom follow winners only. And here's the deal: what type of winners are they following? Because if I can sit here and demand that I need to see certain individuals fight certain guys for me to be able to vocalize how great they are on Reaper Gang Radio, because there's one thing missing from why Canelo is not criticized on any level on Reaper Gang Radio, and what's missing is that competition. Now, when I see that, man, all of my critiques going out the window. But you know, it's offensive. It's offensive for us to do that. But when it comes to Bud Crawford, that motherfucker ain't never done shit in his career. But I can tell you one thing that Bud Crawford did that Jose Ramirez couldn't do, and what goddamn Josh Taylor couldn't do: dominate Victor Postal in such a fashion that you couldn't even get this nigga around. Shout out to my bro Truth Braun Jabe. He says everybody knows it, and that's why he gets the ducks and he gets the ducks in the smoke. They scared. That's a fact. My whole problem is I want us as boxing fans to truly identify with what we're saying out our mouths here and how fucking contradicting it is to everything that's going on in boxing, and how it is complete hypocrisy. I want people to identify with that. I feel like fans need to identify with their fucking phony shit as well. This is the problem. This is how we going to clean it up. If y'all want to know how we going to clean the sport up, we're going to have to clean it up when y'all pull y'all fucking heads out of the clouds, start completely being dismissive of what's going on over here because you're so focused on what's going on in front of you. All of your favorite fighters, all of the ones you like to suck the farts out of their ass, all of the ones you big up and think they are the best, but really haven't even proven it to you. But because of promotional value, because of what the media continues to put out there, they have shaped you psychologically to believe that they have done everything they need to do, and they are those guys. Well, I can tell you right now, Virgil Ortiz hasn't done everything he needs to do. So what has shaped him to put this thought in your mind that he's that dude and he is above being critiqued, where you saying, nah, he don't have that right. But Demetrius Andrade, he has that right, but Demetrius Andrade doesn't even have the right. How dare him? He's fucking Dudu. Get him out of here. Y'all disrespect him in every sense of the word, and all that boy ever wanted to do was fight. Y'all disrespecting Bud in every sense of the word, and all y'all want to do is fight, to where now y'all even criticizing his motherfucking multi-divisional campaign. Get the fuck out of here. Because when he was fighting the dudes that he was fighting, they were the best in the world. I can't help it that the best money and the best ticket sales weren't going behind what are considered the best fucking so-called fighters in the world at that time. Put your money, matter of fact, don't put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where you're not putting your pause. Put your money where you're not putting your real energy at, because that's what's really going on here. You putting your money on the wrong shit. You focusing all your energy on the wrong shit. Y'all trafficking the wrong channels and the wrong pages. Because when it comes to shit like this over at Reaper Gang Radio, we don't let shit slide. So motherfuckers don't really like us over here. And we sifting through the ones that are really boxing fans that really do. So we can really have a real fucking community that flourish. And it's going to be a huge boxing community, because once the webs breach out to all of the other real boxing channels and we all start working in fucking unison, all with our own ideology. But when fandom starts working in unison with what objective truth really is, that's when you're really going to get objective journalism, and that's when you're going to get the results. So I challenge you to stop being so close-minded, stop sucking the balls of one fucking major channel that only panders in fucking tribalism, and start paying attention and evaluating all fighters with all truth for what is really going on in the boxing world, because you just don't do it. James Jamison, salute. Shout out to the whole Reaper Gang Scottish division. These are facts. We just stamped that last week. These are facts. So, we building Reaper Gang regional divisions and everything so we can carry this truth. We're going to have a Reaper Gang Canadian division. We're going to have a Reaper Gang Mexican division. We're going to have a Reaper Gang goddamn South American division, a Reaper Gang, motherland division over in Africa. We're going to have a Reaper Gang Australia, Aussie division. We have a Reaper Gang German division, Swedish division, all of that. We taking Reaper Gang worldwide. And now, because I see the power of the tongue, I feel like it is time for us to really, really turn this shit up. Because, guys, this is a real problem here. This is truly a problem here. The constant deflecting. And I just can't stand it. Shout out to Lynx. Who you got fighting for the undisputed junior welterweight title, 2 hands? I got my boy Josh Taylor, man, but I ain't even going to stun. I got a bet on Jose Ramirez because of the odds in Vegas, though. Just covering my angles. That's all. Can't be mad at me for that. I mean, the money too good if it does pan out that way. But yeah, man, I'm definitely rooting for Josh Taylor on this one. I just feel like, man, the skills, man, the skills. Well, y'all know how I get down, man. Skills pay the bills, man. Skills pay the motherfucking bills. All right, so let's tap in. I wanted to start doing this every once in a while too. I wanted to check out what is the every time we do Reaper Gang Radio, because I'm thinking about doing Reaper Gang Radio 5 times a week now. I'm really thinking about really turning this shit up. So I wanted to start checking out the major boxing articles and stuff that's going on in the news. And I wanted to, convey that information to you guys so we can, bounce off of one another and figure out what's going on in the boxing world. Because since we are the heartbeat of boxing, we must keep both fingers on the pulse, right? It's a very close fight, Jeff. Like I said, you know how hard it's been for me to do this closer fucking look video and give an honest fucking critique on what styles I feel like they're going to bring to the ring, how I feel like they're going to approach this fight, because like, oh my God, this shit is a fucking barn burner. This shit is a nutcracker. This is an anomaly, man. So I got to go with this. I got to go with skills paying the bills. And then I didn't like the way Jose Ramirez really looked with Victor Postal, man. Facts. We're back. And throughout my frustration solo, I must say that it is making me want to do this shit more. I ain't gonna lie, I was hating this shit, bro. I was like, man, fucking the NFL deserved more of my time than boxing, bro. I was like, yo, I could start a real life channel, you know what I'm saying, and life coach kids that's going through it, you know what I'm saying, in the streets. And really enjoy doing that every day than picking up with this bullshit that goes on in boxing and people that don't want to identify with the truth. Because if I'm going to speak substance, I want it to be spoken amongst, you know what I'm saying, those who appreciate it, and we can move from it, and in some form or fashion we can benefit from this shit. Because in the truth that we speak, I don't see anything coming from it, yo. Because it's so many delusional fans, yo. Because you got one group of, once again, we have one group, and I ain't even talking about the LDBC because they're not even that deadly. Have power, use it for good? Absolutely not. But they're not even the biggest problem in the boxing. The biggest problem in the boxing is those who don't identify with the tribalism that they carry in the sport. That one just fucked you up, didn't it? Yeah. It ain't the LDBC. It's those who pretend not to be the LDBC, but they are 1000% all of the above, but they just try to pretend like they're not. But all shines and all of their bullshit would show you that that's exactly what they are. And it's highly unfortunate because their fan base will always let them proceed to continue doing what they're doing simply off the behalf of they are talking about their favorite nutsuckers. Man, God, it's crazy, man. It's fucking it's absolutely like this is really like this is really one of the sports that that really, like, I don't think people understand like the stain that is on boxing. And we're going to talk Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua because I know everybody wants to do that. And I know there are certain theories that we need to cover hypothetically and look deeper into the situation that is Anthony Joshua, that is ducking ass Tyson Fury, that is Deontay Wilder. I have no smoke for Deontay Wilder at this time because Deontay Wilder didn't do anything but what he was supposed to do. As you know what I'm saying, the other opponent in the joint were considering that it was their whole, we got, you know, the whole lockdown shit and all of that. He just sat back with his mouth shut. He knew he had a legal case just as well as Tyson Fury. Their team just chose to do all of the wrong shit and trying to work with Eddie Hearn, having him running around, shaking hands, creating deals and business for things that aren't happening, which is very unfortunate and it's really fucked up. It's straight hating because he's badass. It's the only thing that makes any sense at all. Look, man, the biggest threats always get the most hate, Jake. I really figured that out in boxing. When you really got that skill set, when you really could be a problem, because here's the deal. A lot of these stands, they would much rather avoid what really is the tough competition because they know who they fighter could lose to. They would rather avoid them fighting them than saying, man, Canelo, he consistently calling you out, get in the ring with him. So-and-so, you know, he's consistently calling you out, get in the ring with him. Charlo, Churro, whatever one, whoever it is, don't matter. It doesn't matter. Even Terrence Crawford fans who are in that, who are living their life with that stand-up in their blood, even they would rather see him on the sideline and to engage into a fight where they might think he would lose. But really, Terrence Crawford fans already don't think there's a fight he would fucking lose. So they want to see him in a fight with anybody. Facts. I don't think there is anybody at 147 who can beat him. Period. And I am not a biased analyst at all. These are just the facts. I've stated this since day one. He will beat the drawers and tube socks off of anything that's moving at 147. And honestly, the way his power's carrying over at 147, I think he might be that same problem at 154. But height to weight ratio must be all taken into consideration. Hold on, where was that at? I was about to read somebody comment because I was actually going on the road today. Mandolo says the problem with this sport is the toxic beta male fans and all the ducking and the people making excuses. Bro, I'm sick of it too. And that's exactly what we were just highlighting, man. It's just, you know, we got a bunch of individuals that would rather cradle their guy with soft fucking bum ass opposition, dudes that can't even throw a punch right. Dudes that don't even have no fucking real physique to get in there to take a punch to the gut. Dudes that don't even have that heart to go through to match that punch resistance. Dudes that just don't really have that fuck it in them. They would much rather see them go out there and roll over fucking guys that people herald as okay fighters. And I've told you guys time and time again, just because an individual has a belt, it don't mean he's a great fighter, and it don't mean that motherfucker a legitimate champion. It doesn't. Because there are several individuals that have belts. If I pointed them in a certain direction, these motherfuckers wouldn't be willing to fight. They would only be willing to fight what comes out of the Campbell's catalog. And y'all know what I mean by the Campbell's catalog. Those tomato can fighters that they go through and they sift through and they're like, okay, this is a great matchup for you to look good and we can sell this fucking fantasy, this matrix, this fucking blue pill to the fans that they're constantly digesting. James Jameson, salute. He says if Josh goes in the deep water, Davidson will start his goofy nonsense. I'm worried. That's my biggest Achilles heel in this fight. The fact that he's not with Shane McGuigan no more. He's with fucking that goofy ass fucking Ben Davison. And Ben Davison is and if you guys don't know, Ben Davison is actually working the corner for the Devin Haney fight next week as well. That's going to be interesting because I think Ben Davison actually fits better over there, considering that Devin Haney is a back foot finesse boxer, and those are the things that Ben Davison does well. So we could probably add something to his game. But as far as Josh Taylor, like I don't like the apprehension that Ben Davison, you know what I'm saying, trains with. I like head coaches that like to go for it. You know, I don't like trainers that have fear of shit. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have fear of nothing as a trainer, man. You got to be confident in your boxes through and through, man. Like the way he had Tyson Fury fighting in there, man, Fury would have won that fight by fucking knockout for real if he wouldn't have been so apprehensive off the back foot instead of running away from his punches, and he would have went straight to his power. Because going away from the power is actually not a smart idea, because all of the power is at the end of your punch. It's not at the beginning. So if you're going away from it, you're going away through, you're walking his jaw into the totality of his punch. Now, if you close the gap, now you're taking away his arm strength. He doesn't have the ability to extend and give it that power no more. So they all coming over like this. You know what I'm saying? They're going to hang over the shoulder. He's not going to be able to punch correctly. He's not going to be able to get that kinetic energy behind that punch to get that smack on it. But to say that I'm not worried about Ben Davison being his trainer, I am. But they've had a significant amount of time to work on things, and I think Josh Taylor is the type of fighter for real, where he don't necessarily need that perfect outside look. I think he's the type of fighter that can download all of the information he needs on his own and truly get the job done without even having Ben Davison in his ear. Shit, just put a cut man in this corner. I think fucking Josh Taylor get it done on his own for real. He has that type of boxing IQ. And after the way he fought Regis Prograis on the front foot, willing to bang inside the phone booth, that, you know what I'm saying, that makes me believe that he ain't going to be too worried about Jose Ramirez power, even though I think he needs to worry about Jose's straight right. I don't think he's going to be as apprehensive with Jose's power, considering I felt as though Regis Prograis had the hardest shot at 140 pounds. Everybody forget Josh dropped Postal in his 13th fight. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's why Wizard Sleeve, I promoted the fact that Jose Ramirez had the issues as to where Josh Taylor didn't necessarily. Now, Josh Taylor had problems in the fucking, in the earlier rounds. He definitely did have his issues, but once again, this was his 13th fight fighting Victor Postal. This guy is a unified champion in 17 fights, man. 17 fights. I mean, I don't know too many people 13 fights in, and then after, you know what I'm saying, you're going into the WBSS, man, and you fucking just blast out fucking Ivan Baranchik, with great boxing. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this man's just been running through champs, bro. Champs. Former champions, like, and it's got all the skills, man. Like, yo, he's an any era kind of fighter. Facts, two hands. It ain't the LGBT. It's the ones that follow the shit but don't want to be stained by their reputation. These are facts. If you look at the votes these guys put out, if you look at if you just listen to their conversations, bro, they don't criticize these fighters in any measure. I criticize everybody. Everybody. They don't criticize anybody. Now, people might sit up there and be like, well, you don't criticize Terence Crawford. What the fuck has he done to make me have to criticize him? He ain't done shit wrong. When he does something wrong, I'll criticize him. People are like, well, you don't criticize Demetrius Andrade. He ain't done shit wrong. Now, during the time when he said he wasn't going to fight, he wouldn't fight Canelo when there wasn't a crowd and get paid less, I was kind of, I kind of dug at him about that. But it wasn't like the option was really there for him. But I definitely got at him about that. But then when you look at everything, look at the Callum Smith situation and shit like that, I kind of understand why people be kind of apprehensive about shit. Because you shouldn't just be willing to just take all type of disadvantages to where some shit is just completely unfair walking into certain fights. Because if it leaves you with one hand tied behind your back with a fucking broken ankle, like, yo, you like hopping in the fucking ring, fuck that shit. People act there like there's no racial bias in boxing. They do they? I say it all the time. I just don't necessarily say black and white. I leave it there open for open interpretation. But there clearly is a racial bias in boxing. And it is truly aimed in this direction. It is. Just because I'm not a proponent to get on it and dwell on it or whatever, if those people who are doing it aren't willing to identify with it, So what? But there truly is. Because I just highlighted one situation of it earlier. I highlighted another situation of it again with Jaime Munguia when it came to Demetrius Andrade and what Oscar De La Hoya was trying to do. Now, this has nothing to do. I don't fucking see things in black and white, but I recognize when shit is in black and white. There's a difference. Like, look, you see how many motherfuckers will be quick to tune out as soon as you talk that shit because they don't want to hear it. Like it makes them butt hurt when they hear it because they just like, they think it's some race shit. Nah. I'm not a leftist by any means. I'm more conservative / in the middle, more libertarian than anything. So don't get it fucked up because I ain't with none of this goofy shit going on in the world at all. I am not a divider. I am one that likes all my circles complete. That's white, black, Mexican, you name it. I don't have a racist bone in my body, but I can see the bullshit and I can see the tribalism and I can see the pandering. And when you notice it and you recognize it, people recognize it too. I'm not the only one who see this shit. It's clear. It's cut and dry. I'm going to be honest with you. And you could get mad at me if you want. If you sit here and you talk about Spanish fighters all day long, motherfuckers is going to love you. Your subscriber base is going to shoot through the roof, and these dudes is just going to gravitate to you. If you glorify them all day long, but if you critique them, these motherfuckers is going to unsubscribe. They're going to hate you. You want to know how I know? They do it already. Not saying everybody, because real boxing fans aren't going to get on that level. Get on that petty, sucker nigga level. Now, I've had motherfucking over 100 subscribers unsubscribe to me the night Anthony Joshua lost. I'm sure it was because I was an American channel and they felt as though that I was going to jump on bashing Anthony Joshua through his loss. No. I critiqued Anthony Joshua based on the loss, based on what I saw. He knocked the guy down in the third round, had the upper hand in the fight, and gave up his reins. When I'm critiquing an individual, I'm critiquing them on boxing. But when I look around in the boxing world, motherfuckers be doing a lot of critiquing niggas based on tribalism, based on the colors of their skin, which is absolutely whack to me. But for me to act like I don't identify with it and I don't see it, I see it all the time, bro. Like, y'all don't even understand. I fall in some Reddit forums, I fall in some other forums, and you can listen to the racism. Literally, people call niggas all type. Boy, it's there. And it's rampant in the boxing world. So that's why it's always going to be a problem. Because boxing brings out the racist in full fucking force. It is disgusting. I dare a nigga to call me a racist. I dare a motherfucker to call me a pander or a motherfucking my own race or whatever. I will gladly prove you wrong. Because from the beginning of time, I've been considered the biggest coon in this shit. The biggest coon in this shit, which is highly offensive to me. But I'm considerate by my own people on a day-to-day basis. Why? Because I won't jump on board with the pro-black agenda. I won't do it. You want to know what agenda I jump on? What's pro-right and what's pro-wrong. That's the agenda I jump on. I'm not for it. The pandering, the racism, all of that stuff in boxing, yo, is disgusting. It's got to stop. Campos Vasquez, salute. I hope John Pascal gets another win against Badu Jack. He gonna beat him too. He's gonna beat him. And you want to know what I took from that situation? The same thing that he did to Badu Jack, the same thing that he did to Marcus Brown. They just aren't willing to accept that a 40-year-old John Pascal just overshadowed what you guys try to want to throw a little marketing campaign on. You guys wanted to campaign for Marcus Brown to be this next great. You wanted to campaign for John Pascal to be this next great guy, but they ain't that. A champion showed them up in 40 in John Pascal, and you're not gonna. Those guys aren't gonna be that, because if they can't get past John Pascal, what you think they're gonna get past Dimitri Bivol? You think they're gonna get past David Benavidez? You think they're gonna get past what? They definitely ain't getting no fights with Canelo. Gabe Lopez, salute. But Canelo, AJ are held to a different standard. All of them are held to different standards. And my thing is, why are standards different for all people who walk the same in their career? I mean, of course, their careers are different. They blaze different trails. But I'm talking about the level of opposition, their willingness to fight anybody, and their willingness to go after being great. Why is there any critique towards that? And why does it, when it comes to these contenders, these tribal contenders, everybody just jumps and gets geeked up, but Demetrius Andrade gets left out in the cold? It's sick. Jaime Munguia is the only person that deserves to fight Triple G right now because it's supposed to be an exciting fight. Why? Because that's your only opportunity of Jaime Munguia realistically winning a belt at 160 pounds, because he could never beat Demetrius Andrade. That's it. And you know that's the fight Eddie is gunning for. So what does he do? He takes his butt over to Triller. Now he's going to try to make that deal between Triller and Triple G, but Triple G is with the zone, and Triple G got to pay. He got to pay like he weigh, man, because the price for Triple G is extremely high and nobody is getting anything for it. Anything for it. We could have saw Triple G fight Sergey Derevyanchenko a year before he fought him, literally. But he tried to make he tried to use Vanis Martirosyan as his IBF man, as to fulfill his IBF, his IBF obligations instead of it being Sergey Derevyanchenko. Why is that? We just saw them in the ring recently, so we know why. You notice how there's no patriotic way amongst the U.S. You never see a bunch of U.S. flags in the comments or fighters parading the U.S. flags in fights. Absolutely not. There's no form of patriotism. There's only, division. There's only division and there's only racism. There ain't no patriotism. It's just racism. And the sad thing about it is racism is at an all-time low, but people want to perceive it at an all-time high. Why? It's because they want us all divided. They want us all hating each other because they benefit off of that. They benefit off of us being divided. They don't benefit off us being together. And the same thing in boxing. They don't benefit off of people, you know what I'm saying, identifying with, that taking that colorism out of it. They don't identify with it like that because they have made their money off of highlighting African American and Spanish fights or Puerto Rican fights or Cuban fights or whatever fights since the beginning of time, which is absolute trash, and it's a distasteful thing to do. And that's why, and through doing such, that's why a lot of Spanish. That's why a lot of people got a problem with Floyd Mayweather. That's why a lot of people got a problem with the things that the PBC do and other fighters. And that's why that type of psychology, people don't know. It sits subconsciously in your mind. So it's that easy for you to do it every time for each time that these things take place, and you won't even realize it. People got to understand how mental warfare works, man. And there's a lot of mental warfare played in the boxing world. Don't fall for the trickery, man. Love the sport for what it is. Identify with the integrity of the sport, not with their integrity and what they try to do with the sport. You're wrong. And those who are truly for the sport. And base your opinions off of that, man. Everything should be held to a standard of what's right and what's wrong. Everything should be held to a standard of like, one shouldn't be given passes that another one shouldn't. One shouldn't be given so much unfair flame that, why has Errol Spence got his feet kicked up? He is never criticized, and he does the stupid, goofy, he's thrown himself through a Ferrari comeback fight. Danny Garcia says that made him the pound-for-pound fighter running the world, while Terrence Crawford is sitting in the audience with the WBO. And y'all let that happen. Y'all let that be okay. Why? Because he was negligent and he decided to throw his head through a Ferrari. If you can fight a Danny Garcia, you can fight a Terrence Crawford. And if you fight a Danny Garcia, never in your life should you say that made you the pound-for-pound fighter in the world, considering Danny Garcia has never even beat a soul at 147. These are facts. Same as Mikey Garcia. Before him going head first through the window and getting a whole pair of new teeth. These are facts. But he is allowed to kick his feet up time and time again. Man, shame on these so-called boxing fans, and shame on these so-called reporters who don't even call it like it is. I wish I had my own news station or whatever. I think that would be the best thing to boxing. Whoever had enough, whoever was, whoever's pockets are sizable enough to where they could just go out and buy a little news station, kind of like, your local town news station or whatever, because free press is free press, to where you could constantly print and have, your couple little journalists or whatever go out and do the groundwork on boxing and report on what really is going on in boxing and put those headlines out. That's the only way boxing is going to change, man. Because reporters that are a part of you know who and you know who and you know who are never going to answer those questions that are going to curb the minds of people to make them get what you want to get out of it. So we just need a whole new media outlet that is covering boxing. Not no seconds out, not no Michelle Joy Phelps, not no pheno boxing, not none of these women who have nothing going for them but they cleavage and they looks and stuff like that, soon to fade in some years, who people only pay attention to their channels because of what they look like. The boobs were appealing, so that became your favorite boxing channel, and they aren't even boxing people. It trips me out. They hypnotize you right your face. Like a lot of these YouTube boxing channels, they are happy to be there, bro. They are happy to be there in their presence. That's why they never gonna ask no questions, man. I ain't happy to be nowhere. I ain't trying to stand around no money. I'm trying to get some money, and I know how to get it. So we're gonna ask these tough questions because I don't care about your money. I don't care about who you think you are. I'm gonna tell you exactly. I'm gonna question you for who you are, and then are you gonna show me what you really about? That's what it needs to be, fight fans. Man, I'm trying to tell you, Jake, it's a spooky system, man. Oh shit, I think my mother's here. Man, I think my mother's here, man. I think she might have an update on my grandmother or whatever. So I'm gonna get back on here a little later. If anybody don't know, my grandmother was in a car accident. She totaled her car, so she told me she was coming down here. Like, I think I hear her through my headphones and stuff. So if that's the case, I need to know what's what. So you guys have a blessed day. As we always say, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. I gotta know what's what with my people. And then we're gonna do this later. I definitely want to do this again in the early afternoon because I want to talk to you guys about some theories I have on Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and why Anthony Joshua might not ever get a shot at this belt. So everybody be blessed, be safe. Remember, y'all all stars, man. And then if you in Hawaii, y'all already know what this means. Hang loose.